we are moving on second part of the story. In last lecture, I have completed the first part of the story. Okay. Now see second part. What happened next? Dr. Watson's account. Okay. See, well, Watson, what do you think of it all? Asked Mr. Holmes after Mr. Wilson had left. Okay. Means what happened? Jabez Wilson told his story to the Sherlock Holmes and John Watson, and after that, he just left. Okay, so I make nothing of it. I answered frankly. Okay, so John Watson, who is the narrator of this story, when Sherlock Holmes he asked the question, what do you think of it all? What do you think about the matter? So he told that I make nothing of it. He answered frankly. Holmes sat silently for some time and then invited me to go out with him. He went to the square where Mr. Wilson had his shop. Holmes observed the area carefully. There were many shops and offices in the square and a bank just behind Mr. Wilson's shop. Okay, so what happened? Mr. Sherlock Holmes sat for a time. For some time, he was thinking, and after that, he invited to the John Watson for going to the shop, for going to the area where Wilson was working. Okay, so what they have seen there, they have seen some shops there. Okay, some offices there and a bank just behind the Wilson's shop. So Holmes spent some time outside the shop and thumped upon the pavement means base. Okay, 2 or 3 times. Okay, so finally he knocked on Mr. Wilson's door. A young man opened the door. Mr. Holmes asked him the way to the Strand. The assistant answered this question and quickly closed the door. Okay, so what happened when they went to the area where all these things happen? Okay, so Mr. Holmes and his assistant went there. They have spent some time there. Okay, so after some time, what he did, he knocked that pavement. Okay, that base. Okay, and after that, they knocked to the Wilson's door. So young man opened the door and Mr. Holmes asked him the way to the Strand. Yes, when Mr. Sherlock Holmes comes to the Wilson's home, okay, he asked that person a way to the Strand. Strand means what? A famous place in London. Okay, the assistant answered the question quickly and he closed the door. Okay, I said, I am sure that you inquire about way only in order to see him, not him. Holmes said, but he needs of his trouser. Now, and what did you see? What I expected to see. This matter of Wilson's is serious. A crime is being planned, but I hope that we can stop it. The offices and banks will be closed for the weekend. Now I have to go and make some arrangements, but I shall want your help tonight. Come to Banker Street at 10 o'clock and bring your revolver. Okay, so what he told that he just said means assistant said that uh, I am sure that you inquiry your way only in order to see him. Okay, means when he asked to the Strand, a famous place in London, so he told he said that I am sure that means that assistant was sure that he was inquiry his way order to see him. Okay, now see not him, so but the knees of his trousers, so he just observed that person. Now see, what did you see? What I expected to see? This matter of Wilson's is serious or not. Okay, a crime is being planned, so he thought that a crime is being planned, but I hope that we can stop here. And he just called him again to the 10 o'clock. Okay, and he just told him to bring his revolver also. So I arrived at Holmes' residence in time. There were two other men with him, Mr. Jones and Scotland Yard, and Mr. Merriweather, a banker. Holmes announced, "Tonight we are going to hunt one of the smartest criminals in London." Okay, so what happened? When he called him on 10 o'clock, okay, on a banker street, okay, and he arrived at Holmes on given time, okay, Holmes resident on given time. So there were other two men was there, okay. So which two men was there? Mr. Jones of Scotland Yard, okay. Mr. Jones, he was a policeman who was assigned for the case, and Mr. Merriweather. Merriweather is a manager of the bank. He was a banker. Holmes announced, "Tonight we are going to hunt one of the smartest criminals in London." So why they gather there? Because they have to hunt a smartest criminal in London. So see what happened next. We left together in a carriage and reached the road we had visited in the morning. Okay. First they gather in the Holmes residence, and after that they went to the place or area where they were visited in the morning. Okay, means where the matter is happened. Now Holmes told us to follow Mr. Merriweather, who led us through an iron gate. We follow him down a narrow passage. After going down some stone steps, he led us down a dark and earth-smelling passage and into a huge cellar full of big boxes. We all sat on the boxes. Okay, so what happened? Mr. Holmes said them to follow the Merriweather, who was a banker and who was led us through an iron gate. Means Merriweather led them through an iron gate, and they follow Mr. Merriweather. Okay, we follow him down a narrow passage. They went to the narrow passage and they went to down, and after going down some stone steps, he led us down a dark. Means they went down in a narrow passage, okay, and they went also, and there were too much dark earth smelling passage and into a huge cellar full of boxes. Okay, means there were some boxes and they sat on that boxes. Now see, we are in a cellar of the city branch of the main banks in London. So where was they? They were in a cellar of the city branch of the main banks in London. And Mr. Merriweather is the chairman of the bank, and he will tell you why a criminal should take an interest in his cellar at present. Now see, Mr. Merriweather explained that the bank had borrowed a huge quantity of gold from the Bank of France, and the boxes in the cellar were full of gold. So so there were some boxes, and that boxes was full of gold because the bank had borrowed that quantity of gold from the Bank of France. That's why that criminal watch on that. Okay, so Holmes expected the criminals to act that very night, because at that time there was a holiday. Okay, so bank will close for the weekend. So that's why maybe criminal can do they can plan on that days. That's why the Holmes was expected the criminals to act that very night. Okay, so we had to wait there in total darkness without making any noise to make the criminals by surprise. So see what happened next. They went at that room, at that cellar. So Holmes was expected that criminals will come at that night, okay, because that was the weekend, okay, and the holiday for the bank. Okay, so they wait for them, but what he told that they have to sit there without any noise and in a total darkness. Okay, so they have but one escape route, whispered Holmes. Okay, so um, he whispered. Okay, means whispered means he talk in a small voice. Okay, they have but one escape route, means exit route. That is back through Mr. Wilson's house. I hope that some men are waiting at Mr. Wilson's door, Mr. Jones. Now I have an inspector and two officers waiting at this door. Then we have stopped all the holes. Now we must be silent and wait. So see here what happened. That inspector already sent two persons to the next door. Okay, and he told them now we must be silent and wait for the criminals. Okay, we waited silently for more than an hour. It was pitch dark in the cellar. Then suddenly Then suddenly a point of bright light appeared in the floor of the cellar. Then a line and a gash seemed to open and a hand appeared. Okay, so what happened? They wait for an hour. Okay, it was very dark. So suddenly what happened? A point of bright light appeared in the floor of the cellar. Then a line and one hand also they saw. Okay, a broad stone turned over upon its side and left a square hole. Okay, they saw that a broad stone turned over its that broad stone is turned from its side and a left a square hole. Okay, a boyish face emerged. They saw a boy. Okay, boyish face. The man looked about and came out of the hole, means they saw a boy who was coming from that hole. He had a companion with him, a man with very red hair, means there were two men. Okay, so other man was with red hair. The pair was none other than Spaulding, the assistant Alice, the criminal Clay, and the red-headed Mr. Duncan Rose. Who was they? They was Vincent Spaulding, okay, and red-headed league's representative, that is Mr. Duncan Rose. As soon as they climbed out the hole, Sherlock Holmes sprang out and seized Clay by the collar. Okay, now say when they came out from that hole. Okay, so as soon as they came out, Sherlock Holmes sprang out. He just catch their collar. Now the other divide them the hole and disappeared. Clay took out a revolver, but Holmes hit him on his wrist and revolver fell on the floor. Okay, so the other divide down the hole and they disappeared. Clay took his revolver and Clay took out his revolver, but Holmes hit his revolver and it fell on the floor. Now it's no use, John Clay, said Holmes. We have caught you. Now we have caught you. Who said? Holmes said. So I see, but my friend has escaped. Holmes replied. He can't escape. There are three men waiting for him at the other end. So see students, other side, a inspector and two sub inspector were waiting for the criminals to the other side. Okay, so those person who escaped, they just caught by that inspector. So Holmes replied that he can't escape. Other There are three men waiting for him at a other end. Then Holmes handed over Mr. Clay to the policeman. Then Mr. Merriweather said, really, Mr. Holmes, I do not know how to thank you. You have foiled one of the most cunning attempts at bank robbery. The bank is gratefully to you. Now they caught the criminals. Okay, who was the criminal? That is Vincent Spaulding and Duncan Ross. Okay, and just who won Merriweather, who was a banker. Okay, he just thanks to the Sherlock Holmes. Now see what happened next. Yes, you see, Matson, Holmes said, after we reached his home, it was obvious from the first that the only possible object of the strange advertisement and the peculiar job was to get Mr. Wilson away from his shop for some hours every day. The Red Headed League was a clever idea. In Mr. Wilson's absence, Clay and his red-headed companion wanted to dig an underground tunnel from Mr. Wilson's house to the bank, and then they would be able to enter the bank and steal the gold without breaking open the doors of the bank. Using the tunnel, they entered the cellar. They planned to steal the gold and go back to Mr. Wilson's house again through the tunnel, and they then get away. Okay, so see what happened, how they plan, how that criminal plan, he just explaining here. Okay, so see, what was the plan? They just dig that underground tunnel, okay, in the Mr. Wilson's absence. Okay, Clay and his red-headed league company wanted to dig a underground tunnel, and they did also. Okay, and what was the use of that tunnel? They would be able to enter the bank and steal the gold without breaking open the doors of the bank. Okay, and using the tunnel, they entered the cellar, and they planned to steal the gold and go back to the Mr. Wilson's house again through the tunnel. That's why they were digging that tunnel to the Mr. house to the cellar. Okay, now see, how could you guess what their motive was? Okay, so Sherlock Holmes, who was the detective, how could he guess? When I heard that assistant work for half the wages, I became suspicious. Using Mr. Wilson's description of the assistant, I made enquiries. I found that he was a criminal, Clay. Why was he working in Mr. Wilson's shop, and his habit of going into the cellar every now and then? I inferred that he must be digging a tunnel to some other building. When we visited the shop, I beat upon the pavement with my stick to find out whether the cellar stretched out in front or behind. So it was not in front. I saw the bank on the other side of the house and guessed what the criminals had in mind. When Clay answered the bell, the knees of his trousers were wrinkled and strained. It confirmed my suspicion that he was digging. You know the rest of the story. Okay, so see, Sherlock Holmes is explaining here what had happened. Okay, now see what happened, what how he could guess about all this matter. So see, when I heard that the assistant worked for half the ages, means assistant who was, that is Vincent Spaulding, was the assistant of the Jabez Wilson. Okay, he was working for half the wages. Okay, so he become suspicious by listening that he is working for half the wages. Using Mr. Wilson's description of his assistant, that is um, he's working for half an ages, he's good, smart. Okay, so he made inquiries about the assistants, and he found that he was a criminal, Clay. Okay, so why was he working to Mr. Wilson's? He inquired again, and he found that his habit of going into the cellar every now and then. Now he inferred that he must be digging a tunnel to some other building. Inferred means what? Figure out something from the evidence and reasoning. Okay, so means when Wilson's gave the description at the time, he thought that he must be digging a tunnel to some other building. And when they visited the shop, he just beat upon the pavement, and he just means he beat to that pavement, to that base, and he found a different kind of sound. So he just thought that whether the sailor stretched out in front or behind, and he was not found it in front. Okay, so he saw the bank on the other side of the house and guessed what the criminals had in mind. Okay, so when Clay answered the bell, the knees of his trouser, which he saw, it was wrinkled, and he was doubted that it's means he is good to wait. Okay, means whatever he is thinking, it's clear, because because when he saw his trouser, it was wrinkled and stained. It confirmed his suspicion, and that he was a it confirmed his suspicion that he was digging. Okay, and another story, you know, he told to his assistant, you reason it out beautifully, I explained in admiration. Now see who one, that is John Watson, who is narrating the story. He just say thanks, okay, and he just admire to the Sherlock Holmes and his intelligence. Okay, students, so this is the story which is adapted from the Red-Headed League, and which is written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Okay, the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is a doctor by profession, but he is famous for his writing. So this is the story Red-Headed League.